Doing all right.
As a fellow quarterback, what do you think of Dave speech?
Man, I thought that was unbelievable. David, I got to know him a little bit at the Manning camp. You can tell right away he's a stand-up guy, just an all-around genuine guy. So it didn't surprise me that he was so well-spoken and so well-prepared for that speech. I thought his message was great, yeah.
Speaking of the Manning camp, you got a lot of praise after it. What does it mean to you, and what do you do with that feedback?
I think it's just a great week to learn from, the greatest family in football is the Mannings. So, be able to develop a relationship with them and ask them questions and, just kind of getting a personal feel for how their work ethic has been all these years and why they are as great as they are. So it's just a great opportunity, and always been a lot of fun to go there and compete.
Tanner, are you aware of the hype that's been building around you since basically January 1st? Just with the praise coming from national media and then
Right.
the excitement around the coaching staff. Have you processed this at all, about the excitement level the fan base has for?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely aware of what it comes with playing the position, and especially about being in Nebraska. The most passionate fans, you're going to come across are in Nebraska, and so it's been a lot of fun. But then just kind of focusing on my job and focusing on our locker room and everything inside, and just letting everything else kind of take care of itself. It's just kind of that's how I've been going after it, and just really focused on the season.
Tanner, what lessons did you learn the first 2 years as a player, and last year getting acclimated to it?
Yeah.
How do you think you can help them this year?
I learned a ton at Tulane, just going through different types of adversity. There's a lot of good and bad that came along with playing there, but a lot of positives I could take away that made me a better player. And then, being lucky enough to land at Nebraska, into a great opportunity, just using everything that I've learned in the past. It's made me a 10 times better player, and I think it's made me just a better competitor, leader. It just all facets of being a quarterback or being on a football team in general.
What's the toughest situation you faced? You mentioned adversity down at Tulane. What
Yeah.
were some of the toughest memories?
It's difficult. You're an underdog probably every game. Played with injuries a couple times. Just a lot of learning experiences, things like that, where you take the positives away from all of it. You get beat one week, you got to prepare for the start the next day on the next Saturday. Kind of putting things behind you, putting things in the past, and learning to move forward.
Have you thought about what that first tunnel walk is as a starting quarterback in HOL?
Yeah.
You've gone through tunnel walks, but this is potentially very different.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I can't wait. It's been a long time since I've been lucky enough to play football, and I really can't wait. I'm anxious for that first Saturday and to play in front of our fans. Yeah.
One of the things Coach Riley said that he noticed from the first day you came on campus is you were determined to bond with the team and get relationships built with your teammates. How much does he think that has been of value to you, just kind of earning that respect and kind of becoming the leader that you've become?
Yeah. So when making that transition, I knew if I needed to get in right away and start making relationships. And you're coming into a locker room with guys that have been together for 4 and 5 years, and you kind of need to find a way to gel and mesh with all of them. But another thing I learned in the past is how to interact with guys from different backgrounds and from different states, different cultures, things like that. So it helped me in that way. And then I think just through work ethic and just consistent, honest, everyday work, I think people kind of saw that, and I think it worked. And I don't think I was trying to do anything different than just do what I know how to do. So.
It's been a couple of years since you've been out
I have high expectations for myself. Just to be consistent and effective in every way that Coach Riley and Coach Langsdorf want me to be. So that's really what I'm focused on right now is, being very detailed in my preparation for the season, and just so that I feel comfortable stepping out there on that first Saturday.
To win the job.
Nebraska recognized you on the street.
Starting to a little more, yeah.
What did they say?
Good story is I knew Nebraska was different before I got off the plane on my visit because I've never been in Nebraska, and I had already taken pictures with Husker fans before I even got there. So it was a cool story. I mean, every day the fans, shock me in some way, just showing how impressive they are. So it was getting off the plane in the Lincoln Airport. Yeah.
Hey, Tanner, do you talk much with Tommy about just the bubble that is being the quarterback at Nebraska?
Yeah.
The good that comes with it, and also the immense.
Yeah, I think he was a good tool for me to kind of talk to him about, what all comes with being a quarterback in the Big Ten in general. Playing for 4 years, he really went through it all, the good and the bad. So, he had a lot of advice for me, just kind of whether it was just staying focused, just focus on the team, focus on what you have to do to get ready for next week, and it just kind of builds from there. So he was good help. I don't know. I think I've always, I don't know. I think in high school I had a great high school coach who, kind of, instilled in me during a game of just staying even keel, one play at a time, work your way down the field, you have to stay focused on one play at a time, and or one situation at a time. And I think I just kind of developed that over time. I'm never really like a loud or a rah-rah guy, so that definitely helps. But I mean, I get excited when I need to, or so I guess that I attribute it to that. Sometimes it happens. Yeah, I mean, no, I don't. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, you save it till you get inside. I mean, that's the best way to talk about it. I mean, I have people that, after tough losses at Tulane, I had my parents, to talk to, or I had an old coach to get things off my chest, or, you always have those people, your support system that, you can go talk somebody's ear off, get things off your chest, and or just talk about how you feel about certain games, and so that's who I used when I was having tough days.
Did you ever have a moment in this journey of a year, almost 2 years, whatever, that you could,
And coming here.
coming to Nebraska? I mean, I'm sure you at some point, like, geez, what am I doing?
I think the whole time I just kind of realized how lucky I was to have this opportunity. There's a lot of unknown, when making a move like this. I think, at the time when I decided I needed to make a change, there was a ton of unknown. I didn't know if anybody was going to want me. I didn't know if I was going to have a landing place or where it would be. But I think I've just been extremely blessed and to have this opportunity that not many people get. So. Yeah. Yeah. No, I used to be number 12, and then when I got here, 13 was on my locker. So I've grown to like it. I actually really like it. So yeah, it's a lucky number for me. So. Yeah, I think the great thing about this quarterback room is, one thing, it's how talented the younger guys are. It's really amazing. I think we just kind of feed off of each other. You see some guy doing something one way and doing it well, and the next guy does it, and then we just kind of continue to wanting to play well and helping each other out. And I think we handled the competition or whatever great, in the best way for the team, and I think we're continuing to do that. Yeah. No, I think Coach Langsdorf's pretty even on, going through practice film the next day of, what he expects from each and every one of us, whether it was mistakes or whether it was something we did right. That's something I really like about him, is his consistency in that way. It's tough to pinpoint one thing, but I think it's the style, just how open everything is, and then I think it's the way in which Coach Langsdorf calls plays, and how confident he is in himself in that way, and how long he's been doing it. That's something I've always liked.
You mentioned adversity and some injuries at Tulane. Was one of those the Rutgers game?
Yeah, it was. You remember that?
I cover Rutgers. So
Yeah.
I'm probably the only guy here who's seen you play in person, right?
Yeah,
So,
maybe so.
yeah. What happened that day?
I remember that entire day. My first Big Ten game, I got hurt. I think it was first or second quarter. I took a hit and I hit my head back on the ground, and they ended up taking me in, and I separated my shoulder. So I was pretty upset about that. But we had a pretty good first quarter, and I think it was like 10-7 or something like that, or.
A big proving ground for Tulane.
Yeah, I think we had a great opportunity to play against a bigger school and things like that. So it was that was a tough day. That was my real first injury. Yeah.
Kind of ironic that they're the Big Ten opener for you guys this year.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun game.
Thank you.
That's cool. Yeah, I think I have to help them out as much as they have to help me out. It's kind of a give and take thing. So if I can slide around or move and help them in any way, they can help me. There's a lot of great players on these defensive lines and these linebackers and tons of different blitzes that we see. So if anything that I can do to help them in moving or being in the exact spot that they think that I am, that they know they're protecting, can help them in any number of ways. So hopefully they feel confident in that.
You like to run.
I can, believe it or not, I can actually run. I choose to throw first, yeah.
Is there a point where
When you have to, yeah.
Tanner, you spent the obviously some passing camps, a lot of things to work on your mechanics, footwork, things like that. But what individually are you looking to improve on most in fall camp?
Over the summer I improved a lot on trying to get faster and quicker and things like that. And, I think just as many times as you can rep your throwing mechanics or difficult throws and things like that happen throughout a game is extremely important, because it's not often in a game that you're off balance more than you're just sitting there in the pocket. So just practicing those type of throws so you can be prepared for them. Yeah. No, I really did. I don't know if I expected to be invited. There's a lot of guys that have been on the team for 4 and 5 years. Tons of guys that could be sitting right here. So, big honor. I take it very seriously that he asked me to come here and represent my teammates. So that was a great thing. I thought that was really cool.
Tanner, there was a moment where during the spring game you had a couple of teammates that surrounded you during the interview and they clowned you a little bit. But it said a lot just about where you're at as a leader. Do you feel like you're at that point where you have that entire locker room right now and you have the confidence?
I think our locker room's got a lot of leaders. So it was a nice smooth summer because so many guys were pulling in the same direction. We had 2 and 3, leaders in each position group that are, helping, myself and Chris Weber, organizing, practices and 7-on-7s and stuff. So it was nice, and I think I really like where our locker room's at.
You saw this potentially coming, with Tommy graduating last year and the chance to be able to take over this job. Were you doing things last year during your redshirt year to kind of ease this transition process?
Yeah, my job last year was to run the scout team, and I kind of took that very serious. Doing that the best way that I could. Really communicating with the defensive staff. Making sure I was giving them exactly what they wanted, what they were looking for, and I developed a relationship with the starting defense, the guys we were going against. So that helped kind of gain that respect. And then the young guys that on scout team then are playing this year. They're going to be. They're going to be out there this season, so that really helped, grow that chemistry. Yeah. I think every week I was still preparing with the quarterbacks like I was going to play, and taking notes like I would any other year. So I'll still have those notes to go back on. So that's something I was preparing for then to help me now.
What do you think is something that the national pundits or the magazine previews or something like that don't necessarily understand about this year's team?
Yeah, I think we had so many seniors graduate, and that so many faces that that guys are used to seeing out there that aren't going to be there this year. We have a lot of guys on the team that are ready to fill those roles and step up, and it's going to be great to see. You know, a lot of guys that are capable of producing just as much as Brandon Riley and Jordan Westerkamp and Sethan Carter and those guys. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see.
Do you talk about that stuff though? Because I mean, we've seen 6 wins, second tier, all that. You guys talk about you guys use that?
Yeah, guys see it and they use it. You know, that's something that, you know, we have a list of goals in our locker room that, you know, we want to achieve, and then we use those things as, you know, this is what everyone's expecting of us. You know, are we going to let that happen? Are we going to do something about it? So yeah, I mean, just like any team does, they use that kind of stuff as fuel. Yeah. I mean, everyone's goals here are going to be as high as they can possibly be, like they should be. And I mean, our goals are to win games, to win a Big Ten championship, and have an opportunity to make it in the playoff and give us a chance to win a national championship. So that's really where we've been focusing every day this summer.
For you, we're talking about your time on scout team or whatever. Tommy was praised for his ability, his mobility, the chance to run. You're always that guy that's prototypical to Mike Riley's offense. Do you ever want to show off the legs a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather throw the ball, that's for sure. I can do that a lot better than I can run. I admit that for sure. But I mean, just being a good enough athlete and training hard enough to use your legs as a weapon and to, you know, get yourself out of trouble sometimes is important. So yeah, I definitely focus on that. Yeah.
I think you could surprise anybody with your speed.
I think so. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not like crazy or annoying or anything, but I mean, they are extremely passionate. They know who everyone is. They know your story. So I mean, it's been a lot of fun. You know, we're great fans.
George Whitfield said that the only thing he wanted to work with you on was your footwork. It was, you know, you can make all these throws. He doesn't have to work on the things that he typically has to work on with college quarterbacks. How much did that experience improve just that aspect alone?
Yeah, I think, you know, going to, you know, George, I tell him every time, you know, I want to work on my feet. I want to work on, you know, when everything's going wrong, finding a way to get balance and make a throw. That's something he really focuses on. But then still focusing on my arm and getting in shape and making sure everything looks right. But every time I go out to him, I always leave, you know, feeling really honed in and sharp. So I enjoy that. Usually twice a year, or twice a summer usually. So.
Is it one of those things that it's just like a kind of a crash course, so to speak, in a short period of time for you? Like, what's that?
Yeah, and I mean, he keeps in touch all through the year. I mean, he texts me just about every day, you know, checking on me, seeing how things are going, or anything that he can help with, or any advice, things like that. So he's been a good mentor and a good tool for me.
You mentioned you grew a lot going up against the starting defense in the spring and last fall while you were on the scout team. How much does a guy like Aaron Williams make you think as a quarterback, especially how he's kind of the quarterback of the defense?
I mean, you learn quickly that he's got a really high football IQ. He's just kind of one of those instinctual players that you see some, and they're pretty rare. There's always been one or two on teams that I've been on, and they're usually safeties. But you know, he teaches you a lot because he makes you pay when you make a mistake, or if you're, you know, if I'm doing something over and over again, he'll pick up on it, and so I've been using him a lot. He's a good player. Closest to 12. I didn't really get the pick, but I've liked it. It's grown on me. So yeah, good number. Right,
Would you say you feel any pressure replacing Marshall, like zero load on your chest or anything like that?
I mean, just the pressure I put on myself, you know, to you know, I have high expectations and I want to play well, and you know, I want to play well for these coaches and for my teammates. So just none other than that.
A lot of talk about the 3-4 defense this week on the other side of the ball, and when you were playing scout, you're probably going against a 4-3. And when you saw 3-4 defense in spring, and as you see it in fall camp, is that like an adjustment as a quarterback, as like as a pro style quarterback? Is there a big like mental adjustment that comes with that?
Yeah, I think in the past when at least in the American Conference, we saw more 4-3, but then when we would see a team that was going to play 3-4, it took an extra day, it took an extra little film session to just see, you know, I think you can do more out of that front. especially when you have talented linebackers. So, yeah, it definitely takes a little extra preparation.